Hello, I'm Courtney. What's up? And welcome to Book Talk. Today I'm going to be talking about It's Kind of a Funny Story by Ned Vizzini. I think that's how you say his last name. I'm not sure. But I finished this book today. It was really quick. Like, I read this pretty quickly because once you get into it, it was just so hard to put down. And it was just so quick to read. And I loved this book. I loved it so much. It was so good. Like, I really thought I wasn't going to like this because, you know, I don't really like reading books about suicide. It's just very depressing, and it's really hard for me to read books about that topic since it's just such a depressing thing to talk about. Like, I don't like to talk about it. So I just thought I wasn't going to be able to finish this. But I did, because Craig, the main character in the story, oh my gosh, I relate to him so much. I related to him more than I thought. And I just fell in love with the story, and it was so good. And if you don't know what this book is about, it's about a kid named Craig. He's 15. He is just starting high school, and he got into this school called the Executive Pre-Professional School. It's like really smart. Like, you have to take an exam to get in, and he got in, and it's great. But once he starts going to the school, all this pressure falls on him because there's so much work to do, and everything's just so smart, and it's too much, where he stops eating and he has a hard time sleeping, and this pressure in him not eating and sleeping, it's so much where he nearly kills himself one night. And because of this, he goes to a hospital. He goes to a mental ward. They call it that sometimes in the book, which I didn't really like. It's a psychiatrist something. It has psych. I don't know how to say the word. But he goes to the hospital to get help and to get better. And it's just a story of this journey he's going through. And it's powerful. Like, I knew this book was going to have a powerful message. And Ned did that. Like, guys, it was so good. This book was fantastic. You guys should all read this. It was such a fantastic and well-written story. And I think that's all I can say from non-spoilers. So if you haven't read it yet and you don't want to be spoiled, I would leave right now. So, bye, non-spoiler people! Okay, so It's Kind of a Funny Story. I think this title is very ironic because, you know, it's about Craig almost killing himself, but then it is kind of a funny story. This book was hilarious. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be funny because Craig nearly kills himself, but when he was in the hospital, just all the characters there were it was full of humor, and it was just such full of life, and I was like, wow, it was really funny. It really was, that just took me by surprise. So this is actually a good title. But Craig, I mentioned earlier, I related to Craig a lot because I myself have gone through depression. I could relate to that. Like, what I loved most about this book was how real it felt. I love me some realistic books, okay? I love it when I read a book and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this could happen in real life, or I can meet this character in real life, or someone like this character. And I definitely think I could meet a person like Craig because he just felt so real, and I felt like I was a part of the story. And going back to depression, I know what it's like to go through depression. I don't talk about this lightly, but for half of last year, I was in depression. It never got so extreme like Craig, where I needed medical assistance, but I was depressed because of all this pressure. Like, I'm now done with my sophomore year, and this next school year, I'm gonna have to decide what I want to major in and take SATs and start looking at colleges, and like, the future scares me. Like, I have such paranoia about it. Like, that's why I got depressed, because of my paranoia and doubt. While Craig I feel like his was mainly on just the pressure of being in this high class school and trying to catch up with all these people. I just felt so bad for him, and I'm so glad he made the decision to transfer schools at the end. I really did not want him to go back because I just knew that if he did, everything would just continue. It would repeat. Like, he would start feeling bad and not eating and not sleeping. I just knew that if he went back to that place, because, you know, once you get better, you don't want to go back to those places that made you feel bad in the first place. So I really did not want him to go back to that school, okay? But I am glad that school was supportive, how he got that call from the principal. He was like, hey, we're here for you, like, get better. We have open arms. Like, I really respected that, but I was just like, please don't go back there, Craig. But he's not. He's gonna go to an art school, and I loved how he drew the maps, but there was like a brain. It was so cool. I really respect Craig, and he was such a relatable person, and he really inspired me. Like, the end of this book just hit me so hard about how his brain now just wants to do stuff. Like, another thing I have in common with Craig is how I think too much. I overthink so much stuff, and that's where I get my paranoia and doubt from overthinking things and having all these different possibilities and scenarios in my head, and I'm afraid to take risks and talk to people and do stuff, like, because of this paranoia that I feel. But when Craig was like, my brain doesn't want to think anymore, it just wants to do stuff and just live, it's inspired me. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get better at just doing stuff, just going for it. And that really hit me. And the scenes at the hospital, honestly, it was so nice. And I know it's like they're in the mental part of the hospital, and here we have all these people going through these crazy situations. But it was what I loved was how these people kind of become his second family in a way. Like the Mukwata guy, his roommate, I don't know how to say his name, but I really liked him. I really liked Noelle. I call her Noelle for some reason. It's like Noella, but I read it as Noelle. I really appreciate her story, and I'm really glad that she and Craig kind of have this thing going on. It was really nice, and I loved how when they talked for the first time, all their sentences ended with a question. I thought that was really cool. I really just respect everyone there. Everyone was just really nice, and they all just kind of became a family in a way. And I found it very interesting how Bobby and Johnny didn't give their numbers at the end. Like, Craig wanted to stay in touch, but Bobby was like, I don't really want to communicate with you because I don't know if I'm going to get better. And I don't know if I want to meet you again because I don't know how I'll feel if I see you or how I see myself. I don't know. It was just, I learned a lot from this book about, like, mental disorders and how if you have depression where it's like a medical issue, like side effects and everything. I learned a lot. This was a very educational book, and I've learned so much, and I just really liked the way Craig described things with the anchors and the tentacles. Ned just did a really good job at, like, describing things, okay? And what makes this so much more sadder is that Ned, the author, took his own life, and I knew that before I started the book, and it just made things so much more sadder for me because Ned himself was in a mental hospital. So this kind of, in a way, is like his own story. It's not this, I don't know. It's sad to think about that Ned has passed. But what I love most is that his spirit lives on in this, because I definitely think while Ned was writing this, you can, like, see some of himself in Craig, definitely. So his spirit lives on in this story, and this is a powerful book, and I really hope that if you have considered killing yourself, please read this, because it will change your whole opinion on suicide. And I really loved the point where Craig was talking, I think it was to Dr. Minerva, whatever, his therapist. I can't say her name for some reason, but he was like, doesn't everyone think about killing themselves at one point? And that was something I just really agreed, because I think that is true. I think everyone has thought about killing themselves at one point, myself included. I just think that's a thought that has to go through your head at least once in your life. For me personally, it's kind of just like, if I kill myself, how would people react to it? That's what scares me. If I died, not even if I just killed myself, if I died, how would people feel? I'm so glad Craig didn't kill himself. I was so scared that he was gonna do something, and I was like, Craig, no. But I really agreed on that point. And definitely, if you need help or have thought about it, please call the suicide hotline. The number was in this book. I'm pretty sure it's still the number, 1-800-SUICIDE? Was that the number? I think it was something like that. Please call your local suicide hotline or check yourself into the hospital just like Craig did. I didn't realize you can just do that for a situation like that, but you can. But oh, just know that I'm also here for you if you ever need to talk about anything, because you know, I know what it's like to go through depression and feel paranoia. I don't talk about it a lot here, but I do understand that feeling. So just do what you have to do to get better, because everyone deserves to live a happy life. And I'm just really, really happy that Craig is finally in a place where he can live a happy life and he's going to just live. So the book ended beautifully. I love how it ended with that one word, live. It was just very, very beautiful. And this was just a beautifully written story. I now want to read more of Ned's works because it's just so good. There's a movie of this. I kind of want to watch the movie now, but I feel like it won't be as good as the book. But I think that's all I have to say for this book overall. I really loved it. I thought it was great. And that's all I have to say for this book talk today. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'm Courtney, and I'll see y'all next time with a new video up soon, so I will see you then. So, bye! Yo!